This is chapter 5 and I recited to you verses 27, 28, 29, 30 and part of verse 32. And the English translation is, and relate to them with truth the story of the two sons of Adam, when they offered an offering, but it was accepted from one of them and was not accepted from the other. He said, I will certainly kill you. The other said, Allah accepts only from the dutiful. If you stretch out your hand against me to kill me, I shall not stretch out my hand against you to kill you. Surely I fear Allah, the Lord of the worlds. I would rather that you should bear the sin against me and your own sin. Thus you would be a companion of the fire, and that is the recompense of the unjust. At length his mind made it easy for him to kill his brother, so he killed him, and so he became one of the losers. For this reason we prescribed for the children of Israel that whoever kills a person, unless it be for manslaughter or for mischief in the land, it is as though he has killed all men. And whoever saves a life, it is as though he has saved the lives of all men. I have recited these verses because there is much debate these days about what a just war is. And that debate arises from the fact that this is 2014 and the First World War, the war that was to end all wars, started in 1914. Now you see, you cannot diagnose the causes of something and a cure for it unless you go back to the roots. So when some people think that this dissension and fighting and killing is something new, but we can see that it started with creation. In fact, as the verse before the verse from chapter 2 Al-Baqarah that I recited to you, verse 30, where angels say, and will you create something that will create mischief in the world? God, that is in response to Allah telling them that He is going to create a Khalifa on earth. So even before man's creation, angels knew that this creature being created will create mischief in the world. Actually, I'll sidetrack here slightly because there is much debate in the Muslim world about evolution, and even in Turkey all websites that teach about evolution have been banned. But interestingly, if you read when you read this verse of the Holy Quran, ask yourself, how did angels know that man was going to cause mischief on earth? Did they have some kind of knowledge of the future? Could they see into the future? How would the angels know? Because as far as we are concerned, angels only know what God has told them. And this is not a new question. And if you read classical commentaries of the Holy Quran, you find one of the reasons given for angels asking this question, why are you creating something that will create bloodshed and mischief on earth, was that there had been previous creations on this earth and they had caused mischief and bloodshed. And angels had this knowledge. So, based on that knowledge of previous creations, they said, well, you are going to create something and that is going to do the same thing as the previous creations. So, what is the theory of evolution? Theory of evolution is exactly the same, that you start with one type of creation and it keeps on improving and developing and so on. And this, what I have recited to you, is from about what I have quoted to you is from the commentary of the Holy Quran by Imam Ibn Kathir, who is a highly regarded Islamic scholar, and he in fact is quoting previous scholars to justify what he is saying, and he is quoting them and saying this is what they say how the angels knew. Imam Ibn Kathir was a Sunni Imam. If you read the most authentic Shia commentary of the Holy Quran, you find exactly the same explanation. Why would angels, there are three explanations, one of them is this one. Why would angels say that this creation will cause mischief and bloodshed? Is because they had seen it happen previously by previous creations on this earth. So, those previous creations must have resembled human beings. They must have looked like human beings. But that is an aside, that this evolution, which is thought of somehow as a European concoction and invention to take Muslims away from their true faith, has been a part of Islamic religious thought and discussion for centuries before it was ever thought of by Darwin and his friend. But the point I am trying to make is this, that from the very beginning, even before creation, this danger was there that man will create mischief and bloodshed on earth. And then the second story that I read out to you, the chapter 5, is about sons of Adam. There are different interpretations. Some people say all of us are sons of Adam, so this story is about all of us. Some people say that it actually is a metaphor. The good son represents the Ishmaelites, in which the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallam was born, and the sinful son is represented by the Israelites, who refused to accept many messengers of Allah, and they killed them. But whatever, if you just read it and take these verses on face value, you can see that Adam is created and comes down to earth, and his two sons start killing each other because of jealousy. So that has been a part of human history and human nature from the very beginning, and since the creation of humankind and its placement on this earth. So this is nothing new. And this debate between Cain and Abel, that one says, I am going to unjustly kill you, and the other says, well, I am a complete pacifist. Even if you kill me, I am not going to respond or retort or do anything. That debate is as ancient as creation of man. See, sometimes we think that all these debates are new. They've just happened. It was in 1914 that for the first time we had people who saw the slaughter in the trenches, and the killing and the gassing, and the wounded and the disabled, and this pacifist movement was born. Well, this is manifestly not true according to the Holy Quran. The first pacifist was Hazrat Adam's son, who said, even if you kill me, according to the verses that I've just recited to you, I will not raise my hand against you. I will let you kill me. I will not defend myself. I leave it to God to decide what He is going to do with you. Because by killing me, you would have strayed from the path of righteousness and correctness and duty. That means God will punish you. And this is what the Holy Quran says, that and you will become one of the companions of the people of hell or fire, as the verse says. So we have to remember that we have had this conflict, this confrontation going on between two things from the very beginning. From the creation, we have had good and evil fighting. From creation, we've had not only good and evil fighting, but also a discussion and debate about what to do when someone does something wrong. The Quran answers this in the verses that follow on. The verse that I recited to you, in that the Holy Quran says that killing of one man unjustly is equal to killing of all men. And there are only two exceptions it gives to that. And that is, they make war on the Prophet, or they create mischief in the land. So with these two exceptions, or kill another human being, with these exceptions, if you kill one person, then you killed the whole humanity. So the justification is only those three. Everything else is unjust. And then it simply says, if you save one life, it is as if you have saved the whole of mankind, the whole of humanity. So we should keep that in mind when we discuss pacifism and when we discuss what a just war is. The point about giving these things is that the Quran is telling us from the very beginning we've had this struggle, and we have given commandments, we have given instructions, we have given guidance on how to deal with it, how to be a just and virtuous person, and if someone is not, what you do with them. The Quran, Holy Quran manifestly rejects this, that if you try and kill me, I won't resist, and I leave it to God to decide, because in the verses that follow, it says that if this happens, then injustice will spread throughout the earth. Now, we come to the fact that these were individuals. You see, the Holy Quran says mankind is a single nation. The Holy Quran does not recognize countries and tribes and divisions, etc., etc. Mankind is a single nation. Now, what you have is, when you get nations, you don't even have to have nations. Let's think about a football match. You have a football match and you have two teams, I don't know, Manchester United and Liverpool or someone. And the fans of each one of those clubs, because they have this collective greed to be the top, they try and outdo the fans of the other club in screaming, in shouting, in throwing stuff and so on, and it even leads to ugly incidents. There are fights outside. Fans of one club shout abuse and denigrate and try and humiliate the players of the other team. So we don't have to go as far as looking at nations. Wherever there is a collection of individuals and they are trying to establish their supremacy over another group, you will get mischief and you will get killing and you will get bloodshed. So, this has gone on, but what has happened now is that individuals have decided that they are going to make nations. I am English, I am Scottish, I am Welsh, I am French, I am American, I am this, I am that. And my country is best. Look at national anthems of many countries. What message do they convey? Isn't it that we are better than others? Isn't that we are supreme? Isn't that we are going to rule the earth and so on? So when the collective will of a country to show that they are better than others is implemented, or attempts are made to implement that, then we have conflict. And that is what is unjust war. That is not the war that is sanctioned by the Holy Quran. What you're trying to do is, you're trying to say, I am better than you, I am superior to you, you live the way that I want you to live, or the way that I live, and that's the best thing to do. And if you don't, then I'll come and beat you up, kill you, whatever. In this khutbah, I wanted to deal with one thing, and that was this debate about a just war. When it starts with the First World War, or the Napoleonic Wars, or the Korean Wars, or Taliban, or 9/11 and so on. And I just wanted to put to you the fact that this debate and these conflicts have gone on since the very creation of mankind. And unless we look at why these conflicts arise, we will not be able to find a solution to stopping these conflicts. And we won't be able to have what may be called a just war. Hopefully, next week I will carry on and deal directly with the concept of what is a just war and what is an unjust war, or a rebellion against God, as the Holy Quran calls it.